Here's my most recent garden update, and I'm going to give it a title this time just to be a little bit dorky. This is going to be called, If at First You Don't Succeed, Reseed. And I'm not talking about going backwards, I'm talking about adding more seed. If some of your plants don't come up as thick as you want, you can reseed them. Okay, so this tree was blocking all of my sunlight, and it grew here on its own. It was never planted, it was wild. It's a mulberry bush that ended up being 25 feet tall. So I did a lot of work cutting that down. And now, after the sun rises a little bit, this whole yard ends up with sun instead of half of it. And I noticed that this edge of my yard, some of the seed didn't do well because of lack of sun. So I've gone ahead and reseeded in these areas. I put in some more lettuce seed on the end. Where the scarlet Nantes carrots are kind of sparse, I added more scarlet Nantes this weekend. And my family all planted a bunch of new stuff. But I'm going to give you a rundown on what we got. We planted brand new kale seeds in here this weekend next to our onion sets. And our tomatoes from seed are getting quite tall. There's a lot of them in there. So those will be climbing a little bit taller, just like these plants that we bought. Probably in a month or two, those will be full-blown plants. You see my tomato plants are already producing tomatoes. So probably in a few months, I'll have some tomatoes. There's some there too. So I've got about 5 different varieties of lettuce in this row now. Next to it, the peppers are starting to come up a little bit, and they don't grow as fast as the tomatoes from seed. But I've got several in 2 rows, and I reseeded the onions also over there because they were a little bit sparse, so we'll see if we can add some more. But what's really doing well is the red carrots on this side, the mustard greens, collard greens, the peas are starting to climb the trellis. We got some plants, pepper plants, live plants, I planted them. You see my peas are beginning to run up my trellis now. I added a bunch of sticks from the mulberry that I cut down. And the corn on this side, the white corn, is starting to get a little bit taller. It's still sparse, but there'll be enough in there to be productive, I think. Where it's really going crazy is this middle corn, the end corn, and the squash plants are doing great. I had 1 empty spot, so I bought another pack of squash. We planted it this weekend. And where we had hit and miss melon plants, we planted more melon hills all the way down the first 2 rows here, because it was too cold, I think, when I planted them the first time. And they like warm ground, so we'll be watching for more of those plants to come up. And all the beans are doing good. Trim those bushes over there. So yeah, good update here in the garden. A lot of green. Move the strawberries more into the sun. My wife's got a couple sprouts that are, what are they called? Sweet habaneros. I might buy another pack and do that because now this is in the sun too. Sage. Anyway.